Hey y'all, welcome back to Rubber Duck Tech. Today on the bench, EVH 5153. This is an original one. This is in because the owner had this modded to stealth specs, but is not sure how well it was done. Wants me to go over it, double check it. One of the things is the resonance controls at the back are wired backwards. Good, so if you want to see inside of 5153, stick around. So before we take this thing apart, so yeah, this has been wired, so that's maximum and that's minimum. So yeah, that is backwards, but when you work it, strange though, if you're from the front, it kind of makes sense because you're turning it in. Maximum on the knobs in the front will be that way, which would be that way. So, but yeah, the client wants these wired the correct way. What have we got around the back? Vex loop, slave preamp out. This thing weighs a ton, but yeah, you've got some meaty transformers in there. Let's take this panel off and then have a look see. So here we are inside the beautiful 5153. I know this customer had already done the transformer switch from 230 to 240 and reported back saying a massive improvement, thank you very much. So, power board, ouchie, shocks, lots of galore. Unfortunately, the only thing I have an issue with the 5150, well, anything Fender built, is Illinois capacitors. These things are shit. They will go wrong. They don't have any life to them. I don't know how old this one is. I mean, we'll measure them, check they're okay, but at some point these will have to be removed. They are rubbish. End of. Anyway, other than that, it's pretty well laid out. I mean, how many preamp tubes do you want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ridiculous. But anyway, all the switching, matrix. But other than that, it's a pretty simple circuit, to be honest. Here we can see the stealth mods that have already been done. I will dig out a schematic and make sure everything's hunky-dory, but I have to say, do you know what? Besides the reversed resonance parts, all the other work, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with it really. Some may complain, but this is a PCB. It's very difficult to make a super neat, tidy job that you can with point to point. This is a crap design, unfortunately, with this mass-produced stuff. So the LEDs, you have to so the board tech, when you're taking the board out, you have to desolder the, well, you don't have to, but it's probably easiest to actually desolder these LEDs off the front panel. You can see all the pots are hard onto the board. Yes, they've got the support brackets, which makes it much better than, obviously when you're turning the pot, it wouldn't be rocking on the 3 contacts going into the PCB. These metal supports just give it some rigidity and makes it a much better prospect. But I'm guessing only 1/2 of this tube is used. Otherwise that'd be scary. Like I said, I need to get a schematic out. I don't really know what I'm looking at yet. I need to be 100% sure. But it's a good looking side. I mean, it's a decent sized PCB, nice thick traces on the higher voltage sides of things. You see, there's not a lot to it really. It's actually a fairly simple amp for as much as it is. It's three preamps and a power amp. Pretty cool. Let's get a schematic and have a look. Okay, so printed out the 2 schematics. This is the 5153. This one is the 5153S. Now, everything highlighted is the changes. So this one's a bit of a weird one. Not quite sure what's going on there. I shall have a look at that one. What's that? V5B. That's V5. I'll have a look at that one again in a bit. So yeah, so these are the coax jumpers that one of them's here, and one of them's here. They're all been correctly done. The only things that I know need to change is this resistor here is where is it? It says it should be a 10K, and it's still currently, if you see, it's brown, grey, yellow, which is, which one did we say? It's a 180K, which is that fella there. So we'll need to change that one. We may just jumper it down, put another resistor across it. You know, put them across it, you'll halve it. And the other one is that orange capacitor in the center of your screen right now. 103J C35 on the original, which one this should have been, is a 0.01, and on the S it calls for a 0047. Oh, I need to check that bypass cap's been done. Oh, yeah, R36 not R56 not stuffed, and that is correct because it is, there we go. So yeah, all the mods appear to have been done correctly, barring question mark on that one and this value here. So I'll change those. I think the customer was aware of those, but I will change those, and then obviously just switch the so the outer tab needs to be swapped to this outer one. We leave the center ones and we just move the outer ones, and then these will operate in the correct direction. Well, up to you which way is correct, but the customer wants them the other way, so we'll change those. Okay, back in a bit. Okay, so this little jumper here going from the plate and around, which I don't know why there was any ever changed, it's pretty much the same as the schematic. It looks like the tech, oh, it is underneath the board. He's lifted that leg on that pin for the plate of the second part of the tube, and he's run a jumper wire at the same point. It's a bit peculiar as to what the purpose of that is, because what are we doing here? So here is the original B4 V5B. Here we go. Sorry. Focus. There we go. So off the plate, straight across. So yeah, there's that. And then on here, focus, focus. Yeah, same thing. Curious, but the tech has already done it. Previous tech has already done that, so we shall leave it be. All good. So before we go, we'll just check the bias. Right, bias pot is actually maxed out, and these are pulling, highest one is pulling 28, 26, 27, 28, 26, which is, they're all pretty tight. 5153s never get biased hot. Only the very, very first run for 6 months or so, they had a huge adjustment range. Recommended is about 30 milliamps, so we could get away, next time this retubes, we could get away with some slightly higher current draw 6L6s. But yeah, 5153, it's all power amp game, it's all preamp game, sorry, power amp, which will a nice clean power section. That's bang on. I've got about 475 on the plates, so 30 milliamps are at 50% dissipation. Those tubes will last forever. And tonally, like I say, on this kind of style of amp, this SLO based thing, they have cold biased power amps. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Could we get it hotter? Yeah, we could do, but it's not going to sound like a 5150. So this baby is done. Oh, little side note. The way, let's turn this thing off now. The way the speaker jacks are orientated, they sort of have a pass through. When this one's unplugged, the two little connectors come together and create the connection to this one. Now, if they're not clean, you will get oscillation, whistling, etc. I had that with this amp. So, ideally, always use the outer jack first, and then when plugging in the second speaker, use the second jack. So, just a little side note, but obviously if you keep them clean, that's all good, but I would still always go for this one first, then this one second. It's just the way. Some amps are like that. The DSL had an issue like that. Loads of amps have that thing where the parallel one is kind of joined through one of the other jacks. It's a good idea to find out which is your kind of primary jack before it splits off into the second one. Just a side note. Yeah, on Marshalls actually they do that too. So on a Marshall, so say this is your impedance selector on the Marshall, and you'll have your 2 jacks. Always go for the one closest the impedance selector. That will be, they then cascade down. So if you were to plug in this one, there's a jumper on the second one to get it to the output transformer. If you use the first one, you're missing out all of these extra connection steps, which could cause you problems later on. Okay, let's get this one buttoned up and on top of a cab, and let's listen to it. So I've got the 5150 stealth modded running into the reactive load, which is up there on the bench, coming out of there into my HX stump, which is on the floor. Usual stuff. Usual signal chain. And on the stump we're running the impulse response of EVH Studios, who this amp belongs to, of his EVH 412 mic'd in the bottom right speaker with an M160 microphone, somewhat off axis. So this would be, if you went to EVH Studios, went to see Ed, you would see this amp, and he has impulse responses of his collection of cabinets, which is quite extensive, and this is the one that I favour. Got the amp set up. All the EQ controls are straight up on halfway. Presences are just cocked over from 12 o'clock. The resonance controls on the back are all around the 12 o'clock mark. The clean channel 1, I've got the gain about half past nine, and the volume, I've got the volumes on each of these channels almost at halfway, so these are pretty cranked going into here, but it sounds superb there. Gain at 9 o'clock, and yeah, volume about 11ish. So this is the clean channel. So that's some examples of it set pretty clean. If we bring the gain up a little bit, so this is the gain just over 12 o'clock on the clean channel. put a humbucker on it. Getting into classic rock territory. Let's crank the mids a bit. Let's see what that does. It's almost got, dare I say it, a Dumbley feel to the clean channel when you overdrive it. It's crystal clear, incredibly unforgiving. Like it will show up every mistake. Every note's defined. To me, this sounds like an 800 with like already with a booster in front of it. There's some low end filtered off early on in the stages. I know in the stealth mod they're trying to, all the channels now have a much similar character, I find, in these. But yeah, it's kind of got that filtered booster in the front end thing, so it's quite tight. Let's go full gain on the blue. Does it need another channel? Christ's sake. Red channel. So the red channel, obviously, you're just stepping on from the blue, but the red channel gets a bit thicker, whereas the blue channel's got that nice percussive attack. The red channel gets far more into the SLO sound, I find. It's got that warm sponginess around a note and a bit more lower mids. Liquid, sustainy. Let's go to 2 o'clock. But still really dynamic. I mean, we've got shed loads of gain there. Tell you, it's modern classic 5150 in stealth form. Killer amp. What can I say? See you in the next one.